السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. We say to you, first, I'm humbled and thank you that I get to talk to you and share my experience in Dawah. First of all, I want to say that Dawah in Wichita, at least, or as under Sheikh, been going a long time, and it made great strides. It made vast strides in this town from where it was, even starting in Masjid al-Nur. We've been involved with it till today, and still should make a lot more strides. We're still lacking a lot and need a lot of help in it. First of all, a few elements I know I just heard. I wished I was able to attend the whole thing to learn also from my other brothers and colleagues that were here in Sheikh when they spoke, but I'm sure you heard about the fiqh of da'wah and what needs to take place. First of all, we need to ask ourselves, how did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam make his da'wah? How did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam make da'wah to others? And we would learn that just from his seerah we would know. But we at least know from the Quran how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him to do. He said, "Ud'u ala basira." First of all, you better have the knowledge. You can't make any kind of da'wah, especially to any da'wah, an invitation to anything, not just Islam, but an invitation to anything without the knowledge, not only the knowledge, but the understanding of the surrounding, the understanding of the deen itself, the understanding of the life of the Prophet. So the first thing that is very crucial, and I learned a lot from, is how you make da'wah and based on what. So the first thing is really basira. Basira, the word itself, as you know, has to do with sight, has to do with basar. So it's inside, heart, full conviction and iman of what you know, your knowledge, head, and then your eyesight, and realizing the surrounding. This is all basira. Another verse in the Quran that has to do with the Prophet ﷺ and a command from Allah, "Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah wal maw'izati al hasanah." Then once you have that knowledge and on basira, then this is the way that you need to do to connect the people to Allah. Sabil means the way to Allah. And the purpose of da'wah, and I'll come to the other question. The purpose of da'wah is to tell the people who Allah is. That's it. That is it. That's what the prophets came for, and that's what we are here for, following the footsteps. To let exactly the people know who is our creator and who should we worship and why we are here, of course, once you know who Allah is. So the second was, "Ud'u ila sabili rabbik." We are going to make invitation to people to the way to reach and to know who Allah is. How? With two ways. Wisdom, which has to do with the knowledge that we just mentioned. With wisdom, not like what some of the overseas want to do it with violence. Allah said with wisdom and with good advice, good way to show them how to do the things, how to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does it take? What are the means to know who Allah is and our creator is? So that's number one. Number two, if you are going to invite to something, you better be in full conviction of it. You yourself better be in full conviction of what you are promoting to others. Again, regardless of what you're inviting to, but here we're inviting to Allah, to Islam. You better have full faith and no suspicion inside of who Allah is, who you are, what are you doing, where are you going. Full conviction. That's the since you have full conviction, you better be a role model. You better be a role model. You can't invite someone to prayer and we don't pray. We can't invite someone to not cheat others and we cheat on the other side. We can't. There is no way. Otherwise, everything that we say is void. It will not be taken. They won't even. Actually, what we're going to do when we do something like that, and we're not a role model, we are going to drive them away from what we're trying to say to them. So we better be role models in exactly what we say to people. If I say this, that means I do it. I'm not just inviting you only, not do as I tell you, but do as I do. And that is the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Again, Now, Dawah has strategies. A strategy to tell them what Muslims do is not enough. And a lot of times we still fall into that. So their acceptance of us, like she said, they just want to reach out to you and tell you it is okay, we accept you, we support you, you can worship what you want. That's not our strategy in Dawah, that's public relations. Our strategy in Dawah, again, what is? Just like the prophets came, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with all of them, is to connect the people between the heavens and the people on earth. That is the purpose. The purpose is not to tell them what Muslims believe in or what Muslims do. That is good, we'll mention that, we'll come tell them we do the pillars and everything, but the main purpose and the strategy of Da'wah is to connect them with who God is, Allah, and where we are going, where we will be in a few years, and when we will meet Him. And we are meeting Him for sure. So that's a strategy that we need to think about. I'm not only going to tell them, okay, Muslims pray 5 times a day, they fast and they make Hajj, and that's it. That's not the purpose. That's not the goal of what we want to reach, really. 5 is the goal. We look at the info. This is still strategy of Dawah. You look at the information that you want to give, like she mentioned. Do you spill out everything? Do you spill out all the articles of faith and who Allah is and the articles and the pillars of Islam? Do you just spill out your heart and tell them exactly what you want to tell them, not necessarily what they? So we need to really make sure, basically it becomes know who your audience is, so you can give the best form of da'wah, which is, we mentioned in the beginning, with wisdom and best of message. So I need to know who am I speaking to. Am I speaking to college students? Am I speaking to males and females? Am I speaking to physicians? We go speak to physicians. I will be going to speak to the chaplains at Wesley Hospital next week. So I'm talking to chaplains that deal with people that are sick, but they want to know how they comfort Muslims, what Muslims go through when they on their deathbeds or when they are very sick, how they can come. So I need to know who am I speaking with, who I'm going to speak to. Am I speaking to college students? Am I speaking to a church? Even to a church. By the way, it's very challenging for us to give da'wah. Is it the church across the street, the Lutheran church? They believe in something else. They don't accept Catholics. Am I speaking to Catholics? Am I speaking to the Mennonites coming out of Bethel? I'm talking for Wichita. There could be other circumstances in other cities. Am I speaking to the Catholics, which is a huge, large groups here in Wichita and bishops? Am I speaking to a group of priests? I need to know. You really should prepare yourself. As she said, this is a huge challenge, as well as it is an trust. It is an amana that how you speak and what you are going to tell these people and tell the audience in front of you. Another thing is for people that want to do this da'wah on regular basis, that they want to join into this. Why are you doing this? Why am I doing this? Am I doing this to promote myself, for example? Am I doing this for a certain goal to be famous? Why? And you need to answer this yourself only, no one else can answer. Why am I promoting this deen that I am on, or want to connect the people with Allah? Question you have to answer, because we are ordered. There's no other answer to this. Because we are, according to the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us for a purpose of to know who He is. That's it. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا, giving you the reason. لِيَعْبُدُونَ. There's no other reason why we are here. That's it. That's the bottom line. Whether humanity wants to accept it or they don't want to accept it, they'll find out. If they accept it, then they do well. They know who Allah is, they promote it, they tell who Allah is and everything. The purpose of our being and why I'm doing this, because it is an order from Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now to cut it short so we can answer maybe some of your questions if there are any left. These are personal strategies that I use and found over the years that they do become effective. Number one, as I do introduce and give myself a good 2 minutes to 3 minutes, and sometimes longer if I find that they are still, in sense from the audience, they're hungry for more information. I introduce myself, who I am, what's my college background, how many kids, wife, hobbies, what I've done in Wichita so long or have been. So then they connect, they're at ease. Oh, okay, this is a normal human being. A lot of times they come, they really don't know. They don't know, they have zero clue of who we are, what we are. They think we are aliens. They really do. Some groups come in here, they are so nervous, they are so tight, that they think we are aliens. So you have to ease up your, again, knowing your audience. The younger audience, by the way, they don't. They don't, because they are exposed to the internet and exposed to this technology and everything. The younger college guys in high school, they don't come in here tense. They come in here very relaxed. They already know, they've looked and watched a couple of videos, they probably read even, they've seen something. So they don't come tense. The older generation, they come in here very tense and sometimes nervous. So I do a strategy that I feel, I do introduce myself, and I actually take 2 to 3 to 5 minutes to even, sometimes if it's needed, I do that. That way they can connect with me. Maybe I have some in the audience that attended Wichita State University. I have some in the audience that do have kids like me, 4 or 5, and my kids do that and they do this. So they connect with you right away and you put them at ease. It becomes kind of an icebreaker. The second thing is I try very hard ahead of time to know, especially here we do know, you know, when we see it, since we're on the committee and everything, we see the information that comes. Okay, I have 2 people coming, both males or both females, the age group, how old are they, and it says how long they're going to stay with us. Also, that's very crucial. I don't want to speak to them 45 minutes, don't leave them any time to speak. If they're saying I'll be here for an hour, then we do it accordingly. So again, I do make some little bit of study of who is coming or who I am going to speak to. For example, I went to spoke to a bunch of bishops from bishops from all around Kansas. I didn't know nothing about the denomination of the church, so I went studied, I went looked at it. What do they really believe in? How much are they different from other sects, from the people that come from around us and everything? Are these bishops different than normal people that don't have much idea? Are they supportive of Islam? Are they acceptance of other people of faith, or they're not? So you have to know and make some study of who you are going to speak into. And again, like I said, and they probably heard it from the Sheikh, it's challenging, it's very challenging. Sometimes we don't talk to Christians. So sometimes the talk that we give about Dawah is not the same to every group. Sometimes it's not Christians, sometimes they're atheists that come. They don't believe in anything. Sometimes brothers, they come and they are gay. They are, or I'm sorry, the lesbians from the other gender. How do you speak to these kind of people about Islam? And they throw the question at you. Is it permitted in Islam? And so I'm just saying that it is very challenging. We have to know what kind of people we are speaking to, who they are, and what they are. You have to be creative in the way that you give the da'wah. It's not the same all the time. And I mentioned in the beginning that this had transformed the way we give da'wah, transformed many times since we only been involved with it here only in Wichita. Transformed, retransformation every time, because it keeps changing. Its surroundings around us keeps changing. So you have to be creative in how you present to the people after you make the study. Who's coming, and how you have to be creative. What do I need to be funny with them? Shall I throw a couple of jokes to break the ice? Are they a group that is funny? Are they a group of old people that they don't worry about jokes? They don't have much of a smile on their face. For example, 3 years ago, I went to Bethel College. And the topic itself, sometimes, like she said, they specify topics for you. It was about, they want to know about jihad and terrorism in Islam. That's what the topic was. I dressed up like Bin Laden. Seriously, I told the Sheikh about it. I dressed up at Dijdash, and I put the amama or the hatta, and I went like that when I first entered the class. And I spoke to them, even in a loud voice, and how they show them on TV. And I made, of course, pre-arrangement with the instructor. Then I left and I took it off and put my regular, came back with a better, less voice and stuff. And I said, what do you think? Both are the same. It was me. So this person you might see on TV and this person you might see that here with you or anyone. So you have to, and what I'm trying to say, you have to be creative how you grab the audience that's in front of you. You have to be creative. Dawah is creative. You know, we said in the beginning, hikmah and maw'idah hasana, with good advice. And actually, hasana means in its best form. In the best way that you can deliver that message, you deliver it. Another thing for these people to connect with us, and we dispel that we are coming from different place, I make sure that they hear me from the beginning, that this is just as much my place in my country as it's theirs. And I have a right in it just like anybody else that's sitting in the audience. And then they feel, they give you that trust. Okay, this person has the same concern for this country as we do. They feel, okay, they like our troops just like we do. And so on. So you have to gain some of that trust. Again, it's always depending on the people that come and speak to you. I want to open it also to your questions, just like Sister Jerry. And I'm sure you heard the fiqh of da'wah either from Sheikh or Brother Michael. As he said, the best thing is, again, I want to reiterate the first 3 points that I mentioned. First of all, how did Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam make his da'wah and the order that he got from Allah? And we said basira. Basira is not only the knowledge, but also understanding your surrounding and the people he spoke to. If you look in the history and the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he used different tactics with different people. Some were encouraging, some were, if it found a closed road, it was with a little bit more of a way that will scare them from the hereafter. Some, if it was a group, was in a different way, it didn't care, said it out loud, and so on. There were always tactics with the Prophet ﷺ on how he did it. The second thing is, you have to believe in what you are saying 100% with no doubt. The third one is, us that give the da'wah to the people, a role model. A role model to them. I have to be a role model for me to be able to speak to the people about what I'm trying to teach them or preach to them. Finally, a strategy, your own strategy to make sure how can you deliver the best message. This is all I have. If brothers have any questions, any way that you would like to ask, any challenges that we go through, I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, I thank you and I appreciate the effort.
Jazakallah khair. This is just
Can you start the camera?